Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the party news and informations on Path of Exile. And this is a huge week, starting off really quiet with some Delirium supporter packs, concept arts. Well, I mean, if you like it, just check it out. Otherwise, unless you've been living under a rock, you should know that the press tour has been completed and the new league has finally been revealed. It's gonna be called Harvest, as you can see here. And I definitely recommend watching the trailer first, watching Ziggy's video on the mechanics second, and then watching Ziggy's Q&A with Chris Wilson as a third video. After that, you can go and give a read to some of those. As usual, it's the random news coverage. There's a couple of those that actually have videos I haven't seen elsewhere. Otherwise, some of these are very useless. As usual, don't really expect too much from those, but still give it a look if you're interested. And well, the main landing page basically explains that in Harvest you're gonna find seed caches around maps. There's gonna be one for every zone most likely, and when you click on the cache you get seeds, and this NPC, which is the new NPC, it's called Oshabi, will come to you and will open the path to the Sacred Grove where you can actually grow your seeds. Basically you have 3 tier seeds, T1, T2 and T3, and well, they can be harvested after some growth cycles. In this case, let's take a look at the T1. It has 5 growth cycles, and every time you open a seed cache into the normal maps or normal zones, you will advance a growth cycle on these seeds. So T1 only requires 5 growth cycles and provides some unit of energy, which is, or life force, which is actually the main currency in here. It's not really tradable, but it's gonna be used for the crafting, which is the big thing about this league. T2 seeds require more growth cycles and also require some life force from T1s as well, and it will require adjacent seeds to be planted. So actually it's a pyramid type, so to do T3 seeds you're gonna need T2s and T1 as well, which of course is gonna take longer, and it's gonna harvest stronger monsters, because when you harvest the monsters you kill them, you get the life force as I said. And this life force, as you can see here, it's used to craft some things, and some of these craftings are really strong. You can see the second one, augmenting a rare item with new physical modifiers. It's incredibly strong. It's basically an exalt, and GGG said it's gonna be common on the lower levels, so you can actually get a good leveling experience. It's gonna become a bit rarer in the end game because it's so powerful that it has to be contained a little bit. And you can do some crazy stuff with this, like this increased duration, like 78% increased duration. It's actually a lot. If you're a Pathfinder, you can probably use one Quicksilver for like half of the map, but it reduces the value, so you have to keep it up with it. And there's a lot of other crazy stuffs, like not consuming sextant use on a map. It's gonna be crazy good for actual end game farming, and some players will definitely find a way to exploit this one as well. And you can see different colors of energy are for different crafts as well, so you will be able to choose which crops to grow to get the enchantment that you actually care for. And you can evolve your gardens. Of course, you can just collect the life force and then you can store it. If you, for example, here you have 10 life force that maybe you don't want to use, so you can store it in the condenser, and then with a dispenser you can just spread it on other crops to help them grow. And well, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Again, many people compare it to Factorio, where you have to connect a lot of lines, all the kind of stuff, but you can just keep your garden simple if you don't want to care about that. And well, if you do care, however, you can just get to grow really big stuff. Like these 3 seeds should have a boss each. There are 3 types again, so 3 bosses, and this one is definitely one of the bosses. If you get really invested into the farming, you can definitely get high tier monsters and high rewards, and the crafting is what's gonna be really good, and it's definitely gonna be good from what we've seen right now. Also, the passive skill tree has been improved a little bit. So, for example, two-handed weapons and rage actually got numeric buff and new clusters of passives, which is definitely really good, but there's also new keystones, new notables, and we'll see a bit of those later. Slams or two-handed attacks and slow attacks have been improved. We'll see some of that later on. Definitely war cries, because war cries have been changed. There's 4 new war cries. The existing one have been remade. They scale on the power of the enemy nearby and not on the number of the enemy nearby, so they can probably use on bosses as well. Also exerting your attacks, basically making them stronger for a finite number after you use the war cry, so it's pretty good. Lethal brands, we're gonna see a bit of those later on. Massive uniques, well, some of those like this chest are crazy. Like this chest basically makes your lightning resistant useless on you, but it is applied on enemies, so you want it to be negative, and armor applies to lightning damage you take as well, so you can defend from lightning damage with armor. It's really weird, but it's gonna be definitely really strong if you get how to use it. Delirium made it into the core game as well, and that is because it matches with pretty much everything. And the way it's gonna work is the more random encounters you get into your map, the higher the chance to spawn a Delirium as well into the map, so it's gonna be really crazy. The Vulcan rendering should make its way into the game. To be honest, I can't even select it, the option is grayed out. But yeah, hopefully it's gonna be fixed rather soon. And there's new supporter packs as well if you want to know more about that. So let's talk a bit about the brands. Basically, GGG wanted to change and make a little bit more active the brand playstyle. So there's new brands, for example the Arcanist brand, which basically triggers any linked spell that you have on it every time it activates, which is basically a custom brand activation spell. And well, this can definitely make for really crazy builds. Penance brand instead builds up energy, not doing damage, and when the brand ends or enemy dies or anything, the brand explodes in an area, and that's definitely a new type of playstyle. Wintertide brand is applying cold damage over time to the brand enemy, chilling it. This is definitely gonna be really strong with other chilling stuff. And then when you remove the brand, the effect applies in an area, so it's also a clear skill if you want. And the Swift brand support, which makes brand basically activate faster, which in some cases might result in a stronger playstyle. Brand recall, well, it's been changed, so most likely to prevent benefiting too heavily from the Archmage support. So now the brand recall, it still moves the brand to you and activates them, but no longer refresh the duration, so you cannot cast a very mana heavy brand at the beginning of the map and then just recall it throughout of the map for like no mana, and that's gonna change the brand playstyle definitely, but still it's definitely gonna be useful and it's gonna be interesting. You can check the video if you want to know more. There's also an FAQ terminating with, again, Ziggy's FAQ, so just check the video first and then give a read to the FAQ, which are not the same questions, so definitely check both of them. And as usual, we get the post, which includes and is updated every time GGG and Bex post a teaser of something new. For example, we're getting new divination cards, we're getting new timeless jewels keystones, like this one is actually pretty crazy. We're getting new uniques, or rather rebalanced uniques. We're getting some more stuff, for example, or where is it? Here it is. These are the 5 new timeless jewel keystones that are now part of the regular passive skill tree. So definitely some interesting stuff going on. It's definitely a huge update. It's focused on crafting, so it's pretty good, and it should make crafting available to the lower end of the player base as well. Definitely really hyped for this, and as you can see, it's only 12 days till the harvest goes live, so definitely take a break if you haven't yet, and be sure to be fully rested for the new league, which is gonna be amazing. And yeah, that was all for this week, so if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all, I've been your host Zorzo, and I'll see you guys the next time.